Hello everybody, my name is Samantine and I am exhausted because last week was finals week and I had to do a lot of work to make sure that finals week was smooth sailing. We did eventually turn in our game on time, and we got a good grade on it too, but couldn't make any videos while I was doing that. So today we're going to do a tier list about the Paladins and the Overwatch characters. And kind of comparing them. A couple things before we get started. Obviously, Overwatch characters are on the basis of 100 health being like the normal increments, while Paladins characters are on the basis of 1,000 health being the health increments. So Paladins numbers are 10 times higher, maybe less, maybe more, it doesn't matter. I will be comparing them as if one would be ported to the other game and the numbers adjusted as such. So obviously, you know, Lilith having like a 280 damage weapon shot would insta-kill almost every hero, every Overwatch hero on this roster. So I'm going to be judging them based on the numbers accordingly. And then second, you might notice already that these are not S, A, B, C, D tiers, because I don't believe in that. Honestly, every time I watch a tier list video and somebody's like, S tier, A tier, B tier, I don't know what they're feeling when they're making those tiers. So when they say, oh yeah, dude, I'm gonna put Doritos in A tier, I'm like, well, is A tier good but not good enough? Is A tier the best but it's not for every occasion? Like, what does A tier mean? So instead of letters, we're gonna be using categories. So let's go over the categories real quick. Up top, meta. Basically, if you pick this character, there's a really high chance that you win just because the character is busted. Second from that is good in the right hands. These characters are good, very good, but they are much better when they're in the right hands. Basically, characters that have a higher skill floor and an even higher skill ceiling. So a noob can't pick up this character and be like, I can't wait to play Reinhardt, and then get absolutely rolled. Reinhardt would not fit this category, just because Reinhardt has a low skill floor. What am I thinking of? Widowmaker. Widowmaker's amazing in the right hands, but give that Widowmaker to a new player, they have no idea what they're doing. Complements a certain character or playstyle. This is different from niche. We'll talk about that in a second. Complementing a certain character or playstyle that is commonly used. So if you're running, I don't know, if you are, you'll see what I mean in a second. Like, you're not going to use them every match. You can't pick them every match and reliably get good results, but you can pick them often, like every third match or every other match. But you can't force this character every game, unlike the good in the right hands and the meta category, in which you can 100% force every single game if you are good enough with the character, or if the character is just absolutely busted. But these characters, they take a specific map, maybe, or a specific game mode, or maybe a specific tank on your team, etc. Niche is very opposite. It's the same but opposite of what we just talked about. Niche is like, you're going to play this character very rarely, but when you do, they're very good at it. They are extremely good at this one portion of the map because they have this ability and this ability that complements this and this. Or maybe you have a tank, two tanks. I guess that doesn't make sense in Overwatch terms, but you have a team comp that would benefit from this healer. But it doesn't come up that often, so people don't really pick this often. And then we've got Healbot. This is the character that is designed to just be a walking health pack. They're boring. They're just mind-numbingly boring. Maybe they can be fun if you know how to do other things, but if you basically, these are the characters where if you're not healing 24/7, then people are going to harp about it. So let's get started with our first character, Anna. Dope, didn't mean to put her there. She is not that. let's just put her up here. Anna's really good. Anna, I guess. I don't know. Anna is really good, especially now, right now. Malga is in the game, and Malga is crazy. In fact, all tanks fear Anna. Just for that one ability of... Actually, for 2 abilities. Anna has 2 abilities, right? But personally, as a tank, I am more scared of Anti-Nade than Sleep Dart. If I'm playing Doomfist, maybe Sleep Dart is much worse. But Sleep Dart is basically Anna's get out of jail free card if a tank decides to absolutely go crazy. But Sleep Dart can also just completely shut down some ultimates, like Nano Blade. If you hit a sleep and nobody touches the Genji, that's it, that's the entire ultimate just drained. And he might wake up and get 1 slash in, but then it's done. But if you throw an Anti-Nade on a Malga, or if you throw an Anti-Nade on a Junker Queen, or if you throw an Anti-Nade on anybody else that can't cleanse it like Zarya can, delete it. Absolutely delete it. There's rarely any abilities in Overwatch or Paladins that cause people to actively back up and like, oh, we got hit by this, we need to get out real quick. Anti-Nade is one of those because it completely shuts down one of the roles of the game. So you cannot heal somebody or support somebody if they're Anti-Nade. Maybe you can help them by like speeding them out or pulling them out if you're a life waver, but Ana is just like really good. Not only that, but her ability to heal from afar with her rifle, it's pretty good, especially in dive comps. You can kind of just run Ana into anything and it would be good. There's only some niche scenarios where you wouldn't want to run her, instead run somebody else who we'll talk about soon. But even if that was the case, and it's like, man, this comp will not work with Ana, you cannot play her, then she comes down here, right? Then it becomes, well, I can run Ana because I'm just a god with Ana, right? Alright, next up, Mercy. She's a heal bot. No debate. Yeah, she has a pistol, but honestly, sometimes I forget she has that weapon. Her whole character identity is latching on to one teammate and then going to another one, then going to another one, or maybe even just sticking on to one teammate and healing them. When everyone's fully healed, then you give somebody a damage boost. She's really good at pocketing somebody, making, I don't know, the flanking soldier or sojourn absolutely crazy with the self-heal, not the self-heal, but she is a self-heal basically. She is just a passive that she can give somebody else. If you're low health, heal. If not, get a damage boost. And then you can't really shoot her that, well, I mean, you can't shoot her. You can shoot her if you're good at shooting. But if you shoot Mercy while she is healing the other person, she heals while she's healing. Plus the insane movement that she's gonna do. But insane movement just allows her to heal more. It doesn't make her a better character. It just makes her better at being a heal bot. So, heal bot. Really good in low ranks. Amazing in low ranks because nobody can hit the shots and Mercies get to go and do whatever they want. But then you get to the higher ranks and more is demanded and Mercy just can't provide. Heal bots just can't provide. There needs to be more utility or higher burst healing. And obviously, if your tank gets caught out, Mercy won't be able to help. Alright, moving right up to Baptiste. Duh, meta. Absolutely. Remember when I said, oh, Ana's great except in niche scenarios where you need like a ton of healing. I almost just swapped them. They're kind of interchangeable, really. Honestly, I think I'll do this because I think Bap is just, he provides more healing. No, honestly, you can make an argument for both in terms of positioning. And yes, the more left you are, the better you are at this category. But you could make an argument for both, but they're just really good. The situations where Ana would not be good is if there's a lot of like diving potential on the enemy team, and your one measly sleep dart that you may or may not hit will not be enough because maybe that Genji dives in, and then you sleep him, and it's like, great, Genji's on me, come help me, and then Tracer comes in, and you don't have a sleep dart, so Tracer gets you, and then you die, and then your team dies because you're dead. But Baptiste, he has a multitude of ways to avoid. First off, he has a really good primary fire that can melt people. Ana needs to hit 3 shots, unscoped with a rifle, which is possible, but if you get some dinks on Baptiste, it's crazy. And you can't headshot with Ana. On top of that, he's got that passive where if he crouches and then jumps, he jumps really high into the air. Very good for movement, very good for getting on the high ground. And then so if you get dived onto the high ground, you can just drop off, and then maybe the Winston that dived you and used his jump to get to you goes down there. And then if you're good, when you jump and you realize that the Winston's following you down, you just jump back up. What's he gonna do? He uses jump cooldown already. And then he's got the immortality field, which can save you from a lot of ultimates. He also has a bunch of burst healing with his secondary fire, with his healing canisters that he launches out. Crazy, especially if your team is fighting a team fight. He can do what Ana can't in the fact that he can heal and damage at the same time. If you hold down both buttons, or if you interchange them, you can shoot 2 heals and then shoot your primary fire. I think is how it works. Maybe I'm getting it mixed up. I don't know. But it's spaced out where you can do both, while the other one is on a pseudo cooldown, right? Because it has a fire rate. So you heal, then you shoot, then you heal, then you shoot, you heal, then you shoot. And his regenerative burst is also really good because it does double healing when everybody's at low health. Baptiste is just, he's a heal bot, but he's a heal bot that's good. He's the right kind of heal bot because he also supplies a lot of damage. He also has a lot of mobility. It's funny because if he didn't have that primary fire, bam, he's a heal bot. But his primary fire brings him all the way up here because if you get dove, you can almost like solo anybody you want, especially with your regenerative burst if you want to use that selfishly, or if you want to use your immortality field selfishly. But if you suck and you don't know how to use both the abilities without them going on their 30-second cooldown and wasting them, then he kind of falls down the ladder here a little bit. Obviously, I'm making this tier list thinking about you being a good player and not a bad player, because if you were just a bad player, then there would be another tier below the heal bot tier saying, wow, you suck. Okay. Brigita is niche. Not a lot of playstyles in which you can play Brigita in. You can play her with a Junker Queen, I would say. I've seen people do that. But you wouldn't want to play her with a Reinhardt just because Reinhardt needs something else besides a Brigita. Like, it makes sense. Like, oh man, you fight with Brigita, with the Reinhardt, and it's like 2 melee characters going up together. But then what happens if you run into a Winston? Will you be able to out-heal the Winston? Maybe. But it's not going to only be Winston. Winston's going to do the tickle damage and, like, basically mitigate the healing that you're doing to your Reinhardt. And then he has his other teammates, who are probably, you know, dive teammates. Ana, Genji, Tracer, who else? Echo, kind of divey. And then it kind of makes your purpose useless. What I'm saying is melee characters tend to do better, because like that's a brawl comp, right? Brawl comp is get in your face, smack them in the face. When the going gets tough, get out. And you don't need you can't have a Brig for that. You need a Lucio for that, right? I would want to bump her up here because there are some good Brig players that just kind of know how to use Brig. And Brig kind of has a one-shot combo that she can do, where she primaries, shield bash, flail whip primaries. Maybe I did that out of order, but still, I think if I were to get on a Brig, Oh, that's... Oh, hang on. Because Ana Brig is really good in dive, because Brig can protect the Ana from dives, because she has basically 2 ways of doing that with her shield bash and her flail whip. So maybe I move her up here, only for that. Only for the reason that she can protect the really good Ana during a dive. So if you're fighting with as a dive team, you would pick Brig if the other person's picking Ana. But I was thinking totally on the Junker Queen Rush comp. So she's really good in dive and she's really good in Rush. I think that bumps her up to complement a certain character and playstyle. You would play her like once every 5 games when your team actually decides to pick Rush or dive. And now we get to the first Paladins character on the tier list, Corvus. Corvus is interesting because he's good, but he's okay, hear me out. I'd put him there. I would put Corvus good in the right hands because Corvus can apply a mark to a flank and then heal bot the tank, and then both the tank and the flank are receiving heals. And it really depends on his build, honestly, depending on what build you run. I'm gonna assume you're running like the most meta build that you possibly can with these characters when you go into comp, and that you're gonna have a build kind of synergized around, like, if they have too much stun, maybe you have an anti-stun build. If they have too much tank, you have an anti-tank. If you have too much flank, if you have like 3 flankers on your team, you have a flanking build, and Corvus is good with that because he has the ability to apply 2 marks to reduce the effectiveness of marks. But still, it's 2 marks on 2 allies. And then if your tank really needs it, and the tank is just feeding their brains out, you can put the mark on the tank, and then that reduces the cooldown of your heal if you heal a marked ally, so then you can just heal bot the tank. Obviously, that's not his only purpose. If that were, that would go down here, but his primary fire is actually really good. People sleep on it heavily. People sleep on his primary fire heavily. Mostly because it's not bursty, it's just kind of consistent, so when a bursty flank dives on them, they get melted. But if you run that talent that stuns when you use your getaway tool, your Visage, which if you don't know, Corvus has ability where he throws out this little orb, basically, and then it lingers in the air after you throw it out. Or it, like, obviously stops and hits a wall, but it has a maximum distance and it lingers in the air. You can press the ability again to teleport to that orb, so you can quickly get away. But if he has a talent where you can throw it through a flank, or anybody, you can throw it through an enemy, and if you do, as it travels through them, it'll stun them. So you can throw it through somebody, begin shooting them, when they come out of their stun, teleport, and then you appear on the other side, and they're like, and then you kill them, right? And that's really good. It's almost, really, Corvus's ability like that, if you use that talent, is kind of like the same thing as an Ana sleep, really. You would use the stunning, you would stun them with a Visage, and then you'd say, guys, the maid, she's behind us, and then everybody would turn around, and then even if nobody turns around, you can kind of solo, because you don't wake people up from a stun, you wake people up from a sleep and you stun them, so you'd be able to get some shots in, and then, like I said, they wake up, you teleport, blah blah blah. And then his ultimate is also really good, just in general. The ability in Paladins, especially in Siege, the competitive game mode, the ability to place an AoE that hurts and heals, or like hurts the enemies, heals the allies, very good. Not only that, but his I forget the name of it. What's the name of his ultimate? I can't remember it. But it's like oops. You didn't see that. The name of his ultimate is like, I don't name it. I don't know what the name of it is. I forget. It's on the tip of my tongue. No, it's like entropic surge or something like that. I don't know. But but it's this AoE you place down that slows and damages enemies and also heals allies in the radius. Very nice. Very nice. Hang on, I have to check. Does it heal? I remember it healing. I remember it healing. Right in there. Dealing. It does not heal. Okay, so it's only an AoE damaging ability. That is still good though. You ult, you throw this on the point, and not only that, but the ultimate kind of like it lifts you into the air like Sigma style, right? And when you do that, you get you can get to nice like high grounds very easily. I'm just gonna leave him here, even if his ultimate doesn't heal. If it did heal, I think he'd be busted. But maybe it's best it doesn't. Furia. Okay, Furia. Furia is good. And I'm debating putting her here and here. This is kind of problematic, this right here. Because everybody is almost good in the right hand. Anybody that could be here could also be here if they were in like good in the right hands. I kind of need to differentiate what this means from this, because you could make an argument saying, well, if it complements a certain playstyle, you're good enough with Brig, you could totally play Brig. But what I'm trying to say with this is, like, if you're good enough, you can force it. I think I've said this in the beginning. If you're good enough, you can force it and play it every time. And if you're not, and then for these characters, even if you are good, there are just some matchups you'll lose. For example, think of like Doomfist. In Doomfist in Overwatch, you could force him in everything, right? You could play Doomfist every game, and even if you were a god and everybody swapped the counters, he would fall down here, because Doomfist just can't be played into a comp that has a bunch of really good opponents that have a really good ways to shut you down. Like on a let me think. Like on a Sombra, Zarya, I guess. And then like McCree, if you really need it. Doomfist just kind of crumbles into those comps. However, you can force Zarya if you're really good on Zarya on anything, just because Zarya is really good. I'm gonna bump Furia up here. Furia is really, really nice, just because she has a lot of flexibility in her talents. If you need to be a tank healer, maybe you have a Yaggroth on your team that just insists on sitting on the point, you can use your beam heal talent and then just leave your beam on the tank. Is that still a thing? Hang on, I need to look this up, because I changed Furia. They just changed Furia. Talents. I mean, this says that this is what it is. I think it's still this. Yeah, this is the only one that got changed. Okay. So, that's alright. I just had to do a little bit of research. I want to make sure I was correct with this one. But Furia's talent to heal somebody inside of your beam is really nice when you just throw it on top of a stationary tank like Yaggroth, or maybe even Inara, and you just heal them that way. But she also has like a build that allows her to indefinitely cycle between her backdash that shoots the 2 projectiles and the beam, because they have a card that says like, when you backdash and shoot the 2 projectiles, reduce the cooldown of a beam every time the projectile hits an opponent. And since there's 2 projectiles, that card has double the effect. So if it were to like reduce the cooldown by 3 seconds, if both hit, that's a 6-second reduction. And then the same thing for beam. It says like, if you hit somebody with your beam, Or if you use your beam, if you hit somebody with your beam, I don't know. I think hit somebody with your beam also counts as an ally. If you hit anybody with your beam and either heal them or hurt them, you reduce the cooldown of your Wings of Wrath, which is the back thing. And that can be kind of busted. So she has ways of dealing with flanks in the same way that Ana does, with the stun on the beam and the backdash on the whatever. She also has, if like you guys are in a group and you need something that's not just based around the whatever, you can the beam, you can kind of be reliable with Kindred. I haven't used the talent Exterminate yet, so I don't really know how good that is, but it doesn't seem that good unless you're playing damage Furia. Furia is just solid. She's good in the right hands. If you are good with Furia, it is really hard to kill a good Furia, just because she has that beam, she has that back Wings of Wrath movement ability, and then if you hit all of them, the abilities can almost just cycle endlessly between each other. Grock. Oops, didn't mean to move you here. Let's put... Grock is interesting because... I'm not thinking about damage Grock here, because if it were damage Grock, I'm not thinking about any damage role, like if you're to play him only for the damage. And really, you can't do that in Overwatch because you have to be the support. But in Paladins, you can pick a support champion and then just make a build around them as if they were a damage. For Grock, support only? I think he's a heal bot. I mean, here's my thinking of it, right? You place down your totems, and you use that card that decreases the cooldown of totems when you hit somebody, when you use Ghost Walk, and then you have the card that reduces the cooldown of Ghost Walk in general. So then you totem, and then if the going gets tough, I guess, you use Ghost Walk to become intangible for a couple seconds, but then you reset the cooldown of your totems. And then if you really need all that healing, you would either bring the talent that brings more totems, so you're just spamming totems, or you bring the talent that makes your primary fire heal as well. But I don't think he's like a mindless heal bot. I don't know. I don't see a lot of Grock in like meta play, or not meta play, like ranked play. I don't know what his ultimate is amazing. I will say that his ultimate is really good. I feel bad putting him in the heal bot spot because he doesn't really deserve that, because he can put out a lot of damage even if he doesn't build a build around it. You shoot his orb into a crowd of enemies, it bounces between the enemies, and his staff, I don't know, because my heart's saying he doesn't belong there, but my head is saying as a healer or as a support, he's best as a heal bot. He really can't do anything else. I don't know. I'm gonna leave him there, and I'm gonna look at him down there, and I'm just gonna hate myself, I think. But maybe you guys know more Grock. Maybe you guys know a lot more Grock than I do, but I don't see him as anything else. Maybe it's like a Baptiste case, where Baptiste has a really good primary fire, but Grock's primary fire isn't all that spectacular. It's like a Zarya beam, but you can't amp up the damage. And Zarya trying to shoot a Genji is tough enough. Imagine trying to shoot like a Maeve or a Vatu. I don't know. I think Grock is just down there. That hurts me. Okay, we'll leave Grock down there. I'll probably get flamed in the comments for this one. Alright, Grover. I think Grover fits the same bill as Brigita. Grover AoE heals around himself. But he's got this new talent. I don't know how new the talent is, but he's got this talent where he can throw out his Vine Whip and pull himself to the location he hit. And when he arrives, he heals people in an area around that. That's got two really good uses. A, you're sitting on the point with your homies, and they just need some more healing, so instead of using your other abilities, you Vine Whip the ground right next to you. Excuse me. You Vine Whip the ground right next to you, and then just burst heal, right? Or somebody is on the one of your teammates is on the off angle, right? And they're getting absolutely wrecked, and they're like, ah, and you Vine Whip over to them to help them, and upon arrival, you heal them, and then you're right there, and you can help, and you're right there, so you're passively healing them. His ultimate is also really nice. It's basically Transcendence, if you're not familiar with Paladins. Yeah, I put him here because he's really good on maps that have long angles, because his axe throw primary fire scales with distance. So if you just throw this down a long corridor, you absolutely wreck people. I think the map is called, what map am I thinking of? Like Dragon's Keep or something like that? I don't know. It's the map with the teleporter that you can go up on. Which one am I thinking of? Warder's Gate. Warder's Gate and Shattered Desert are really good, just because you're sitting on this point and you're sitting on this point, and you have that long sideline. Maybe even the Bazaar would be good, just because it has the long sightlines. Ascension Peak, also really good, long sightlines. Timber Mill, also really good, long sightlines. Ice Mines, not so much. Serpent Beach. Actually, Serpent Beach isn't too bad. Frog Isle isn't bad. There's a lot of really good siege maps that have long sightlines from the point. So while you're on the point with your boys, you could be firing from the back. Even if you can't stun the point because it's too hostile, you can throw out, you can still sit with like your DPS and your supports in the back, just kind of heal from the back, and then push up when you need to. I would say he's good in the right hands, but again, that would break the rule of saying that you could play him and force him in every game. Like, you can force Corvus and Furia in every game if you're just absolutely goated with the sauce, but Grover, you really can't force in every single game, because maybe you're playing in a comp that has more flanks that are going to be separated from each other, and you can't really AoE heal them. Now, Allari. Allari has that pylon that can heal people. You can just kind of set that up by yourself and heal yourself, or you can set that up in an area that forces the enemies to push in a little bit and get over aggressive. And then while your pylon is being a heal bot, you can primary fire with your basically Sojourn railgun weapon, but nerfed. I think it's up here. If you are absolutely amazing with Allari, you could run Allari into basically anything, I think. Again, this means that you have to be perfect with your pylon placement. You can't just throw that thing willy-nilly. You have to be perfect with your aim and be like, I don't know, hit like 65% of your shots, maybe 75% of your shots. You have to be goated, and of those shots, like half of them have to be headshots. Maybe even like 30% have to be headshots. But her ability to just murk somebody on the enemy team and turn the tide of a fight is too good to pass up. And the Pylon's passive healing, also too good to pass up. Her ultimate got nerfed, so it's not as potent as it was on release, but I say on release, on her update. However, still very good, and is an ultimate kind of like beat that you either save, although it's more flexible than bait. You save it, you can either use it aggressively, like, alright, we're gonna go in, we're gonna use my ultimate, I'm gonna face the sunrise them so hard, they're gonna get absolutely steamrolled, and then we're gonna go in and we're gonna go crazy. Or you save it for when they over-aggress, and maybe their Junker Queen uses an ultimate, maybe, I don't know, their soldier uses attack visor, and then you ult in response as quick as you possibly can. Maybe not an attack visor because you will fly straight in the air and then bam, easy target. But you'll ult as fast as possible, into whatever they're doing. Maybe they throw in Blizzard and you ult back. And then now they're all kind of like ticking time bombs if they continue to walk forward, so they have to walk back. It's like a deadlier version of Ana's nade. However, it's not on a cooldown, it's on an ultimate. It's a really good ability. Her movement ability, not much to talk about. You just kind of point into the air. You might get an environmental kill here and there, but honestly, it's just kind of flavor to who she is. Io. Oh boy, Io. Okay, actually, hang on, Io. I'm thinking about her dog. So Io has a primary fire that's really good. It's not really good like Allari, but it's good. It's good. I'm not thinking about the primary fire. The primary fire is like, oh, okay, but then like you have her heal, which is on her secondary, and it's like resource based, kind of like Moira, but instead of a spray that you have to get close to use, it's kind of like a mercy that you lock onto. And then she places this dog, and the dog, or it's a wolf, but you place this like wolf, and then it heals around the wolf, so it's a pylon. Really, Io is the closest you can get to Allari and Paladins. However, she does something different. Okay. Fuck it. She does something different. Where Io, her dog actually attacks people. So if you hit somebody with your weapon, you mark them for the dog. And the dog will begin to attack random enemies. And then the dog has kind of this internal cooldown to leap from its planted position, fly through the air through walls, I think. And no, not through walls. I don't know. I don't know the schematics, the exact code of how the dog works. But if the dog can see you still, it'll leap through to get to you and stun you. And that could be like life or death. You put that dog in a spot where it can heal the team. Also, if you get dived, you can kind of use the dog LOS style, and you can shoot through your dog. Luna is the name. You can shoot through your Luna, and they can't shoot through Luna. They have to kill Luna first. But Luna has a huge health bar, so you can use Luna to soak up a lot of damage from whatever flank might be trying to get you. And on top of that, Luna also shoots that flank, and on top of that, Luna also stuns that flank. It's kind of just Allari, but better. Allari has a better ultimate by far. Io's ultimate is just a glorified Lucio boop that travels through the air and picks up whoever it's hit and carries them into whatever wall or abyss it may be traveling into. But really, you can kind of just spam Io's ultimate because you just get it so fast, and it really has no use. Kind of like how you can spam Reaper ultimate without really planning for it, because you can't say, all right, we're gonna start with not Reaper ult. I guess Reaper ult. I'm thinking of like I'm not thinking about ladder. I'm thinking about like organized play. But like it's kind of like a tracer pulse bomb, where you really can't say, all right, we're gonna open this fight with pulse bomb and then get a big pick, because it's a gamble, right? You can kind of spam Io's ultimate because again, it's a gamble. If the enemy team has headphones on, they can hear it. But if they forgot that they're playing Paladins, and they get wiped. Genos. I think he's just gonna go down here. I think he's gonna be our first niche, because Genos is really good. Genos recently has received a lot of like nerfs, and the only reason he's not down here, I still hate that Grock is here. The only reason that he's not down there is because he has this ability to grab people and hoist them into the air and kind of hold them there. and that's really good. And because if they don't have like the right movement ability, or they didn't buy an item to reduce the stun duration, just holding somebody in one single position allows for snipers to get an easy snipe on them, allows for everybody to, it's basically just a, hey, look at this guy and kill him. It's pretty good. His movement ability is mid. His ultimate is mid, because again, it's like an IO gamble, unless you've got, I don't know, lineups or whatever. But that's not good enough to throw him up here. Up there. It's not good enough to throw him up here either. It just keeps him in the niche, and I don't even know what the niche is. Like, Genos can do things, but other healers can do them just as well. If you need somebody that can heal the flank, but also the tank, just pick Corvus. If you need somebody who can heal through walls, then your teammates are doing a terrible job of staying in LOS of their supports, and it's their fault they're dying. Because I think that's the only benefit that Genos has, is that he can throw his mark of healing on somebody through walls. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep him there. Kiriko. I'm gonna reorder this a little bit. Yeah. Okay, I think that's the ordering. So, Kiriko. Her Suzu is really good. And it's basically the reason she's in this category, because she complements countering her and Junker Queen. If the Junker Queen ultimate is really, really bugging you, but it's an ultimate, so you don't really get that much. Her anti-nade is huge, but Protection Suzu cleanses that, which is also huge. So you use Suzu for that. Maybe if an Ash is bothering you, can even use it for fire damage. Maybe if they have a Malga and for some reason you're gonna just, I don't know. You would, I guess, pick this into Malga instead, but you would have this. Maybe you're running a Hog and you just have a guy that your teammate really likes Hog, and he won't get off the Hog, even if they have an Ana. Then you run the Kiriko, so that even if he does get antied, you can throw the cleansing Suzu, and then everything is all hunky-dory. Her ultimate is so good. It is a fight turner. If your opponent ults and then you respond with Kitsune Rush, there's a good chance you win, just because of how good it is, especially if you're running like lifesteal characters. Like Kitsune Rush Malga, to give everyone on your team, what, 65%? Is it higher now? I forget. A huge amount of lifesteal. That's just crazy. I would say, here's the thing, I would bump her up here, but I can't, because her healing output isn't enough to justify it, right? Now, here's the reason, so she's up here because she has reliable damage. Kiriko's, like, kunais can be reliable, in a sense that you know where to spam. She is about as reliable as Hanzo's arrows, right? There are some Hanzos out there that are absolutely disgustingly cracked and can just hit the craziest shots I've ever seen. And then there's Hanzos like me that only get lucky because A, they're spamming a choke where everybody happens to be putting their head, or B, I was aiming for this one guy and then this other guy just happened to walk into frame and I would have missed. However, I got the lucky kill. So, the only reason I'm not bumping her up is because her damage output is low, but her escape utility is fantastic. Her protection Suzu is amazing. You just wouldn't want to, you don't want to run Kiriko with, like, you don't want to run this combo, basically. You run Allari, Kiriko, your teammates are gonna die, because that is too little healing. Even with Allari's, like, secondary fire healing beam, it's just too little. And going from too little healing to too much healing, we have Lilith. I would throw her here. I would throw her here. In fact, I would throw her right here, because her healing output is crazy. And I would, actually, I think this is a good spot for her, because she is a heal bot. and she's really good at it. But she has no other utility. I was gonna do the bit where it's like, I'm gonna put her down here, but she's so good, I'm gonna throw her up here. But thinking now, what is Lilith's only good use? It's to heal. If you don't know how Lilith plays, I hate putting her down here because it's just like Grock. She has other uses, but it makes sense to use her in the best use of being a heal bot. If you know how she plays, Lilith has normal amount of health, and then right after that, just like how Overwatch characters might have shields or armor, she's got blood health. And she has so much blood health that it makes her, like, tanky. Basically, same health bar as a tank. However, her abilities cost that health. So every time you use an ability, it gives you that health. The only way to get blood health back, besides passive regeneration, is for you to put a hex on an ally or an enemy, and then you would get blood over time. And while the hex is applied, you'll like continuously heal that blood health. Interesting, because she's got that leap ability. It's just a movement ability. She's got that hex that does like either passive healing or damage depending on who you've hexed and what team they're on. And then she's got that like AoE bat swarm thing, which is why she's really good, because that bat swarm costs a lot of blood health, but it also is this huge area of effect that heals really quickly and also damages really quickly, and it makes the point very hostile. Remember when I was talking about Corvus? I was like, oh, Corvus is so good because Corvus, he has this ultimate that can heal and hurt in this area of effect, and then I was stupid because it doesn't actually heal. Well, Lilith does have that. Lilith does have that heal. And that's kind of why I think I don't want to put her there, because it's just so good. It's such a good healing and hurting tool. And then she's got the primary fire that is like a really good sniping tool. But I don't want to bump her up to niche, because niche is kind of bad compared to heal bot. You know what? Bear with me a second. What if I did this? What if I did this? Because it makes me feel better that Grock isn't on the bottom tier. Because heal bots aren't necessarily bad. As terrible as I want to say, I hate complimenting a Mercy. In fact, bam, I hate complimenting Mercy players. But I will say, it's really nice to have a really good pocket that doesn't die. And it's really nice to have a really good pocket or a really good Mercy that after I get a pick or maybe even two and I die myself, she comes in, swoops in, reses me. I think this is good. I think Genos being on bottom makes more and more sense. Niche in the fact that their playstyle is rare and it barely comes up. I wouldn't even know why you would play Genos. I don't even know why you would play Genos. Maybe there should be a tier below this? I don't know. We'll leave it at this for now. But I think this is fair. Lilith is really good because she puts out insane healing and makes the point hostile, which is why she's gonna go there. Is she better than Brig? No, because Brig has other utility. So Lilith stays here. Lucio. He is goated in the right hands. It was. You might be thinking, oh well, he's really good with brawl comp because he has that speed. He's really good with rush comp because he's got that speed. His ability to speed people in and become an AOE healing during the fight is really good. So he should be down here to support the tank. No. And the only reason I'm sticking up here is because of his wall ride and his primary fire. It's disgusting. You can wall ride and get to certain places that no other player would even think of checking, and then you just jump down and dive bomb people and kill them. And then you're like, where did this guy come from? You wall ride into a situation, and then you jump down, and when all the people are standing next to the ledge and they're rotating, they think nobody is near us. You get the craziest boosts of your life, and you knock people, environmental kill them. there are. He is here because he is here because Frogger is a player. Basically, he is here because there are some people who have mastered the Lucio wall running techniques and mastered how his gun shoots, and are just absolutely goated with the sauce. And on top of that, he gets even better when you have like tanks that rely on speed. You have a Reinhardt. Imagine a Reinhardt. Reinhardt's weakness is that he doesn't have a really good movement ability. But if you had a Reinhardt that could just speed in and speed out whenever he wants, oh my god, you're scared. You're terrified. Because once that big German man gets in your face, you're done. You're screwed. That's it. Game over. You are dead. 3 swings of his hammer and you are dead. And that can be done because Lucio helps that. Come on, go to the left. So I would gladly put Lucio up in front here. Is he meta? No, not meta. Okay, Malamba. Hear me out. Hear me out. His gourd is heal body. Just toss it on the point. So it would make sense to put him here. However, he has some tech, right? He's got that tech with the snake throw. When you reload your weapon, which is a snake, you throw it and it stuns people. So you can kind of use that to get kills. However, if you need somebody that just lays down an AoE heal and damage area, you can just go Lilith. If you need somebody that has a ghostly projection getaway tool, just go Grock. If you need somebody that has an ultimate that can AoE like hinder the opponents, Malamba has an AoE fear, but Corvus has an AoE slow, and Corvus spells it faster because he just heals more. Malamba, it's kind of fallen off. Now, you can play damage Malamba, but again, we're not going to talk about damage Malamba, because this is a support category. How well can they support the team? If they were support, I don't know, maybe he'd get bumped up a little bit, but I think he's going to be down here, just because we'll save the niche for these characters are not meta, they're not good, but they're not bad. You're just God's gift to Overwatch or Paladins, and you know exactly what you're doing on these characters. Let's just say that. Or maybe it's the rare game where it's the perfect map, and the perfect team, and the perfect enemies, and you just happen to get 9 hours of sleep, and you are rolling with these characters. Alright. Moira. Is she better than Grock? Yeah, I would say she's better than Grock. So Moira's purpose is 2 things. A, Moira can deal a lot of damage with either her biotic orb that deals damage. She's got the damage orb, and her suck is really good, and she's got a really good escape tool that is similar to Grock's, but it's faster, it's quicker, and she even gets like vertical mobility with it. So that's why I'm putting her above. Not only for that, but also her coalescence is huge during team fights, even if people don't want to admit it. But the reason people don't really want to pick her because she's just a heal bot. She only heals and damages. However, there's a lot of times I've died to a damage orb and it's frustrating. And there's a lot of times where I've healed because of a healing orb. Or I've lived because of a healing orb. And the reason I don't want to bump her up here, because she is good in Rush, is because she doesn't have any utility. She just hurts and heals, that's it. She hurts and heals, and she has an escape ability for herself. So it's just kind of heal body down here. Okay. Pip. Hot take. Pip is really good. Pip is really good. Take all the good things about Baptiste and just kind of make it like faster. I don't know. Pip has the weightless ability that's kind of like Baptiste's jump, but it's also faster, but it's on a cooldown. So it's not like a passive that you can just continually use it. It's on a cooldown. Pip's ability, he's got the talent that turns his primary fire into basically Baptiste's right click. That's really good because not only does it hurt enemies that you hit, but also heals enemies. So it's this hurt and heal AoE again, because if you were to just keep shooting the point where the tanks and everybody's fighting, you're hurting and healing everybody, and you get this balance. He also has a card that says if you use your healing potion, which is a burst of like 1000 healing, I think. If you use your healing potion on only allies and not yourself, you get a huge cooldown reduction for every ally you hit. And if you hit like 2 or 3 allies, well, this card is like maxed out at 4 or 5-ish, it's almost like there is no cooldown. Now the card has a cooldown, so you could get a free potion and then you throw it again, but since the card's on cooldown, then you won't get the CD reduction. And the only reason I'm putting him here and not at Healbot is because he has really good utility. His glue potion, sticky potion, I don't know what it's called. The ability to slow down enemies really nice, especially in a 1v1, because if you slow down a flank, it makes it so much easier to shoot. It's kind of like the same thing as Genos, right, where you can grasp and hold somebody in the air, but it's an AoE, right? Also, his ultimate is so busted. His ultimate is so slept on. If you ult and then maybe even combo it with a really good AoE ult, maybe Malambamba's ultimate or Nyx's ultimate, something that can deal a lot of damage to something. You turn everybody into a squishy chicken, something that can like be killed super easily, and then go on a rampage. You can kill a tank really quickly with this and just absolutely turn the fight. Now it does get countered by items, but I mean, every Paladin's character gets countered by items here. So Pip is strong. Pip is really good, and I will die on that hill. I think Pip is good, better than Corvus, better than Furia, better than Io. Ooh, actually, hang on. Is Pip better than these characters? I need to reorder this, I think. Lucio, yep. I'm basically thinking in the order of like... I'm thinking in the order of... I'm thinking in the order as if we were to get like the best of the best. Not like your average Joe on this guy. We were to get the best of the best. Would a Pip main beat a Corvus main? Yeah. You know what? I will say that. A Pip main would beat a Corvus main. Would a Corvus main beat a Furia main? Yes. Would a Furia main beat an Io main? Yes. Would an Io main beat an Allari main? Yes. I was about to say no because of the guns, but if Io hides behind her Luna, there's not much that a one-shot character can do into a really beefy Fox. So I think that makes it. This makes sense in my head. If it doesn't, let me know. Ray. A lot of her kit is heal body, but I'm gonna stick her here. This is gonna be quick. Because Ray's got that chain heal throw, she's got that link that heals over time. Her ultimate basically resets your health to full. But the only reason I'm sticking her here is because you pick Ray into high sniper damage comps. I say sniper. Any enemy team that can dish out a huge burst of damage that's not given out in like small ticks, right? Like Sky has huge bursts, but it's all done in small ticks, just at a really fast rate. I'm thinking like Sniper. I'm thinking like Blaster, Betty La Bamba, Drogos, and Dredge. Ray is good into those characters because she has that Vivify. I don't know. It's that ability that caps out the amount of damage you can take per instance to 275, 245. And that sounds useless in the face of like a Victor because his bullets are way less than that. But in the face of like a sniper, snipers can't snipe you like that. And giving that ability to a tank makes it much easier to play on maps like that are very hostile and very sniper heavy, like Frog Isle. Frog Isle, imagine sitting on this point here and there's a sniper up at this little sniper's nest. And you're getting absolutely poked out. Another example of a really good sniper map is Fish Market, where the point is low, but the sniper spots are high. You can kind of hide behind those boxes, if you know what I'm talking about, and just keep your link on somebody, and then you can use your whatever thingy. Splitstone Quarry is what I was initially thinking of. Ascension Peak also a really good one. Water's Gate also a really good one. But Splitstone Quarry, if a sniper is sitting on that high ground, it's really hard for a tank to sit on the low ground just because they're a sitting duck. You use Ray here and you give them sustain, it can help. It's obviously not the end-all be-all. Stone Keep, also a big thing. It's obviously not the end-all be-all. It's not the Flex Seal slap-on and instant solve, but it does help. Sarus. Healbot. Worse than Grock, better than Mercy. Basically, if you want to know what I'm talking about, go back to when I talked about Mercy, and just apply it to Sarus, because Sarus has the same thing. She has a good weapon, and she even has a stun. If she shoots somebody 4 times, applies 4 marks, and then uses her stun ability, it stuns people, and also deals a portion of damage, which I guess could technically be considered... I guess it technically could be considered utility, because her ultimate's also really good. It's basically Graviton Surge. However, I'm going to stick her here, because if you want to play Sarus competitively, especially against people who know how to get in the backlines and really wreak havoc, you're going to be playing the build that's going to be the one where you are constantly using your heal while in shadow form, where 2/3 of your heals are coming from when you're in shadow form, and then you come out, you use your heal once more, you get that card that reduces the cooldown of shadow form, base cooldown, and then the cooldown reduction card when you use the heal on and reduce the cooldown of shadow. Oh my gosh, I've been talking for an hour, my brain is rotting. And so maybe this is making a bad call here. I think I'm just gonna have to put it here. Just because, yeah, she has the stun, yeah, she has a great ultimate, but you shouldn't... If you want a stun on a character, get Io, get Furia, get Corvus with that talent. Sarus' stun is just kind of an accessory. It's great in her ult, because you pull everyone together, you shoot your bullets, they pass through everybody 4 times, then you hit them with the group stun, and it's like extra stun. I don't know. I'm sticking her here. Lifeweaver. He was very controversial, and I think he's still very controversial. His ability, but he is such a slept on character in my opinion. His ability to yoink players from one point to another for free, really good. And they don't die on the way. They don't have like a wind-up time. It's just your Doomfist goes in and feeds, and you have LOS on Doomfist, and he's out of options. You can yoink him. If I'm playing Doomfist and I see a Lifeweaver, well, one, I'm hoping he's a good Lifeweaver, but if I realize he's a really good Lifeweaver and he could recognize that I'm panicking and I'm just kind of blocking until I'm hoping a cooldown comes back, and he yoinks me, it's the happiest moment of my life, because I'm like, oh my god, he gets me. Real respect, real. He gets me for real, for real. That you can tell my brain's rotting. just because I'm rambling now. And then his pedal platform is unique, I guess. No really important use besides, I don't know. There's really not a use to his platform, except you can use it selfishly. Maybe you can give it to an Ana, but that requires coordination, like heavy amounts of coordination. And even then, when the platform breaks, Ana just drops down anyway. So it's like, eh. You kind of have to use that selfishly, really. And then you have his ultimate. His heal and his primary fire are just kind of whatever. It's like Kiriko heals, Sojourn's left click for primary fire. It's bit, whatever. His ult, the Tree of Life, big, huge, crazy. Especially now that it can't be deleted by EMP. It is kind of nuts. Yeah, it's another Tide fight turner. Reason I'm putting him here, not big damage output. He's really just there. He's really just a character for utility. Alright, we're gonna go through these last two a little bit quicker because I'm kind of exhausted of talking. Ying. Ying got a buff recently where she can have another clone out. Ying can now put down these clones and then she heals, and she has that healing ability that heals 800. And you can reduce that cooldown immensely. I'm thinking Healbot. I think it is better than Grock because you can change how the illusions work. If you need more illusions that Healbot, you can Healbot here. If you need those illusions to be able to shatter and chase down people and break and like explode, sure. Not her best playstyle. Her best playstyle is to be that Healbot. But her escape utility is just kind of better than Grock's, and her ultimate is also just kind of better than Grock's, especially since the buff it got, where part of it isn't affected by Cauterize. Oops, I just smacked the heck out of my mic. And last but not least, Zenyatta. The first character I ever played when I first played Overwatch. Where do I put him? He's not a heal bot. He's not niche. Where do I put Mr. Zenyatta? I think I put him here. His Discord orb, nasty. Same issue as Ana's Biotic Grenade. Where you can anti-nade somebody, a tank, and then the tank is just dead because whatever. You Discord orb a tank, they just take more damage percent-wise, and it's crazy. If Ramatra is blocking, and he has that, 90% damage reduction, you put a Discord orb on the Ramatra, and percents are additive or subtractive, right? So, I don't know if Zen is 25% or 20%. I'll say it's 20% for now. 20% minus 90% is 70%. So you're just reducing the overall effectiveness of the block by that much. It's kind of nuts. So, but the reason I'm putting him good in the right hands is because you kind of can force Zenyatta if you play him like a glass cannon and if you hit all of his shots and you know how to 5-orb and dome somebody in the head. Can you force him in every game? Oh, actually, hang on. I think I'm gonna do this. At least Allari can heal multiple targets. Not multiple targets. At least Allari has a faster healing output than Zen. And her pylon can heal one person, and then heal another person, and then heal another person, depending on who the pylon chooses. And Allari also has a secondary healing option in her right-clicking healing beam. Zen has one orb. And yes, he can switch where his orb is on the fly, but the healing output on the orb is so low that you kind of had to keep it on somebody for a while, and then switch it, and then switch it. So even if you are absolutely good with the sauce, you just kind of lose games if you're a Zen main, if the other player picks somebody who is a heal bot. If your other player picks Moira, or Mercy, or if your other player picks Brig, or Kiri. Basically, if the other player picks anybody below Zen, you're kind of screwed. Now, if the other player, picks Lucio, you're also kind of screwed. Maybe you have a really good Lucio Zen comp, duo time where you're just both absolutely cracked and you're carrying your DPS. But if you get Zen with this character, or even this character, really, you're kind of in a good spot with this character, or you're in a really good spot with these two. Depends with this one, and it depends on your teammates and the opposing team, and who ate their breakfast this morning, and what map you're playing on, and who's in the right mental spot. But yeah, this is this is the tier list. Are there any changes that I would make? No, this is the tier list. I think this is a really good tier list. Nobody on this tier list is effectively bad. These two aren't bad, they're just not the best. They're not better than the rest, I guess. If you disagree with anything that you see here, let me know, because this was just kind of a fun thing that I wanted to do. Tell me in the comments below also if you want to see me do another one of these, and if you want to see me compare the tanks or the DPS next, and I will happily do that next. Okay, I think that is going to wrap it up for me. I am going to go drink some water because I've been talking for an hour and 10 minutes. Well, actually, an hour and 12 minutes in about 10 seconds. And, oof, I am parched. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all later. Have a good one.